regular city commission of a meeting which has been duly posted to order, and call upon Commissioner Richard Odibe to lead us in an invocation.
Almighty and eternal God, worthy to be held in reverence by all the children of men, we give you humble and hearty thanks for the innumerable blessings which, without any merit or worthiness on our part, you have bestowed on us. Bestow your grace on all nations of the earth. Bless especially our country and its inhabitants and all who are in authority. Let your glory dwell in our land, that mercy and truth, righteousness and peace may everywhere abound. We commend to you the care of all of our schools and ask you to grant that our children may grow in useful knowledge and virtue and bring forth wholesome fruits of life. Save us from violence, discord, and confusion, from pride and arrogance, and from every course of evil action. Make us, who come from many nations with many different languages, a united people. Defend our liberties and give those who we have entrusted with the authority of government the spirit of wisdom, that they may be justice and peace in our land. When times are prosperous, let our hearts be thankful, and in troubled times, do not let our trust in you fail. Lord God of hosts, stretch forth your almighty arm to strengthen and protect the women and men who serve in the armed forces of our country. Give them the courage and loyalty that in all things they may serve honestly and without reproach. We pray especially this day for those who are deployed on foreign soil, separated from their loved ones. Watch over and defend both them and their loved ones during this time. Oh God, you have always been the help and support of our people. Remember the unemployed and the underemployed in their day of their trouble and need. Give them faith to cast their cares on you for care for them. Preserve them from all bitterness and resentment, and teach them to trust in you. In your mercy, increase the opportunity for their employment, that with thankfulness they may earn and eat the bread of contentment. Give to your people everywhere the spirit of love to share their blessings with the hungry. Eternal Lord, ruler of all, graciously regard those who have been set in positions of authority among us. We ask especially for our mayor and city council in this great city of Harlingen, that we may be guided by your spirit, be high in purpose, wise in counsel, firm in good resolution, and unwavering in duty, that under them we may be governed quickly and peaceably. We ask all of this through Jesus Christ our Lord, who lives and reigns with you, the Holy Spirit, one God, now and forever.
Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, welcome everybody to our meeting tonight. We're glad to have you here, and this meeting has been called to order. We'll go now to citizen communication.
We have Robert Lethbridge, taxes and parks.
Robert Lethwitz, 909 East Parkwood. I just wanted to come back. Some things have gone on with the commission over the last couple of weeks since the last time I came, and I just wanted to say that the leadership of this community is failing Harlingen. The fact is that, Mayor, your economic policies have failed the city. We've got a mall that can't pay a light bill, and you're raising taxes 9%. I'd like to see if they're paying their taxes. You said in a prior meeting that you had communicated with retail. They said they were okay with this tax increase. How can they be okay? They can't even keep the lights on at our mall, the main shopping center in Harlingen. They can't even keep the lights on. This is a chronic problem with this company, and you don't think that they're going to have problems paying taxes? The next thing is, you guys just spent $3 million on a park after we already brought this up. People prefer drainage. You know, the primary location of this park, this destination park, is Fair Park. Guess what? Those neighborhoods around that park are drowning from flooding. Why aren't we focusing on salvaging the neighborhood from flooding instead of spending $3 million on the park? It's irresponsible. You guys are failing this city.
Next.
Ron Rosano, No subject, Mayor.
2410 Riverside Drive. When a public official needs time to determine if he's going to testify honestly, that's despicable.
Next.
Juan Ortega.
Hello, Mayor, Commissioners. Juan Ortega, 2401 Alani Circle. I wish I could have more to say, but I'm just still, wondering about all the actions that we're going through on raising taxes to our poor taxpayers who have been given a lot of setbacks. The stock market isn't doing good. So those that are investors like myself, we're not having as much wealth as we expect to have. Plus, all the whammies that I mentioned about the Port of Harlingen, the city of Harlingen, the county, and also the drainage problems. How many bills are our citizens of Harlingen going to wind up, and will they be able to afford it? I wish and hope and pray to God, as was mentioned earlier when there was a prayer being said, that we need to be sympathetic to those that work or unemployed. And I would hope that that was in your heart, or no disconnect from the brain to the heart when these votes were taken. But I wish you all well, and I hope that you're right, because if you're wrong, there'll be a lot of people that are going to be failing with their taxes and having a lot of problems meeting ends come forward and be able to keep their head above water. And the way it looks is going to be very hard. I would hope that you can provide solutions to those people that will be burdened by this tax increase and help them out. Thank you.
Sarah Falls, Pendleton Pro Shop.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'm here on behalf of about the Pendleton Park, the Pro Shop. It's on Agenda 17 today, and just wanted to let y'all know that it is very much needed. We currently have the Pro Shop is a portable building that's dilapidated. It's been there 11 years since when y'all redid the courts about 2008, and the Pro Shop was supposed to have been done at that time, but it's been put off. And so we would appreciate the consideration. It's already gone through Parks and Rec. It's very much needed. The restrooms are horrible right now. It needs a men's and a women's restroom and showers. We just had the pro tournament here, the Futures, and it was an embarrassment. And we want to have more pros come to the Valley. I mean, we're the Valley. They can play tennis all year round. So if we can do it for our community, but also to bring in more profit for Harlingen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Abel Castañeda, Soccer Fields.
I wanted to speak on the agenda number 18, but do I do it now or when it comes up?
You can speak at that time.
At that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it, Mayor.
Okay. All right, those are everybody that signed up for citizen communication.
Yes, sir.
All right. Go on to board recognition. So we have some folks that we'd like to recognize who are serving on some of our boards, and we're going to ask them to call your name to come up here. Christopher Sias, for the construction board, adjustments and appeals. We want to thank you for agreeing to serve on this board. We really appreciate it. It's one of those, it doesn't always meet all the time, but when you do meet, it's really important. We really need great people on this board, so we really appreciate you lending your expertise to serving on the construction board of adjustments. Congratulations. Thanks again for helping us out. Vanessa Camacho. familiar face. She's been appointed to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Is the architect.
And what an
John
important
Piercy.
award that is for our community. We really appreciate
No.
your interest and your service to our community. So thank you very much. And Abel Castaneda, is Abel here? Abel, we want to thank you for your desire to serve on the Parks and Recreation Board. That's an important board, I think. We appreciate all the work that you're going to do there in helping us improve our park systems. Thank you. Next, item 2 is the presentation by Cassandra Consiglio on the Convention Visitors Bureau. She's the director, and she's going to tell us regarding her duties and functions at the CVB.
Good evening. I would like to tell you guys a little bit about what we did last year and what we have planned going forward. As you can see here, we have an image. This is pretty much a lot of what our advertisement look like. You know, beautiful sun. We have 360 days of sun in Harlingen, Texas, is what we like to tell our visitors. See if I can click the right one. One of our goals at the Convention and Visitors Bureau, it's not necessarily to book the convention center, but it is to strongly promote on all of our venues, whether it be print, social media, radio, TV, all of our mediums. We definitely promote the convention center and its beautiful space. We also promote heavily to our tourists that come from northern Mexico. We do this by having cultural events and that of our Mexican descent, and we have a lot of our ads in Spanish, as you can see in the top left corner. We also hand out these multicolored flyers at the ports of entry, and they have a coupon or something sometimes to Bass Pro Shops, so we know exactly how many people use this flyer when they came in. We heavily promote the Harlingen Rio Grande Valley Birding Festival. It happens every year in November for about a week, and we get around 700 birders from all around the world. So we heavily promote this event here in Harlingen. We also promote the Bass Pro Shops, which brings people from all over the valley to come shopping in Harlingen. We promote the Harlingen Marathon, which also brings almost around over 1,000 runners here. So we're very proud of this. It's a Boston qualifying marathon. We promote attractions such as Iwo Jima Monument on MMA property. We promote our murals, which are very beautiful, and encourage everybody here to go visit them. We also promote Tony Butler Golf Course. It's a great image. It rained a lot. It looks really nice. We also promote our Royal Trails. This actually is now part of the Caracara Trails, which is a network of trails that will be the valley. Eventually, we will connect Harlingen with San Benito and Los Fresnos with Brownsville, and then all of the cities will be connected, but this will be a portion of it here in Harlingen. We also promote McKelvey Park and its attractions there, for exercising, and we have a lot of our events in this park. We also promote our downtown antique shopping and market days. And we have a list of very exciting events that we have in Harlingen. So in January, we have the Winter Texan Expo, where we have businesses from all over the valley, and specifically Harlingen, and we invite the Winter Texans to come and see them. They all have a booth, and they hand out information of what they offer Winter Texans. In February, we decided to incorporate a Blues on the Hill because it is one of our colder months, but we want to give the people the Blues on the Hill original feel at McKelvey Park. In April, we will have one of our concert in the parks. This was one of our most successful events, and we decided to have 2 of them next year. So we will have one in April and one in June, I believe, and then we will have 2 Blues on the Hills, one in February and one in May, and our big Freedom Fest in July and our Fall Festival in November. So these are all events that are produced and paid for by the CVB. We raise sponsorships, and we find the entertainment, and we completely fund these events. We also help do planning for other community events such as the Harlingen Marathon, the Jalapeno 100, Viva Streets, the Cinco de Mayo event, the PD Barbecue Cook-Off, the 16 de Septiembre, Halloween on Jackson, Birding Festival, and Lighting of the Arroyo. These are all community events that we are very much a part of helping them come together and raising funds as well through sponsorships from businesses in Harlingen. This is an image from our Winter Texan event. We had a very big turnout last year. We had around 3,000 Winter Texans come and really enjoy and see what we have to offer in Harlingen. This is an image from our Cinco de Mayo event, which is very popular. It grew out at Gutierrez Park, so we are very happy to bring cultural Mexican events to the valley, or to Harlingen, excuse me. This is our Blues on the Hill event in May, and very popular with Nakia. He was a guy that came out on America's Got Talent, so we're very proud of that he came to Harlingen. This is an image from our Spasmatics concert. As I said, we had a great turnout for our concert in the park, and we know that the citizens want a different variety of music, so that's why we're going to have 2 concerts in the park next year. Our Freedom Fest event, where we have the fireworks, is a great turnout for us, and it's just an image. We have the fireworks provided by the Parks and Recreation Department. We have our 16 de Septiembre, another cultural event that we have at the Municipal Auditorium. At all of our events, we like to showcase the facilities we have in Harlingen. This year, we will be doing a mixture of print, airport displays, AJR media, online ads, Winter Texan community outreach, events, promotional items, conferences. We will be attending conferences and hopefully hosting some in the convention center. We'll be giving some sponsorships to certain businesses that will actually go out and promote Harlingen as a part of the sponsorship. We are constantly updating our Visit Harlingen, Texas website. We have new brochures. We are getting some maps created because we have a lot of people that step into the chamber that actually request a paper map, so we're in the process of finishing that up. We are part of the Texas Birding Co-op, which is a co-op that cities in the Rio Grande Valley participate in, and they send a representative to all the birding festivals in the valley and even to United Kingdom to promote the valley for birding. And we do community outreach. I usually can go from a RV park to tell all the residents about what we have going on and the attractions we have in Harlingen, to going to career days in high school. So we're out there spreading the good word on Harlingen. These are copies of some ads we have going at the Valley International Airport. They recently got new digital signage throughout their airport, and we have 4 spots. So these are very coveted spots. Their passengers have increased, and that means our message is getting out there to more people. These are a couple of our print ads. We're always promoting the Birdwatchers magazine, and we also do Birding magazine, and we also have an ad in TML Town and Country magazine. Our Visit Harlingen Facebook page has grown to over 10,000 likes. We reach over 128,000 people with these posts that we have. As you can see on the bottom image there, we have a post every single day. We have a schedule, and we are very interactive with everybody who responds to our social media. We are constantly changing the headers, the photos on it, and we're very engaged with our users. So this is an ad that we would put on Facebook. As you can see, this is a paid ad as opposed to a boosted like. So this ad that we have running right now, it costs about 8 cents a click. Industry average is around 12 cents a click, so we're doing very well on that. And this ad is actually more popular with men, but I think it's because it's a military attraction there. And it's very popular in northern Mexico, so Tamaulipas, Nuevo León, Chihuahua, and so we know that people are clicking through it, and it is getting a lot of usage. So this is a sign that we found out we had off of the Los Indios Bridge. It used to look like the image on the left, and we have recently, we just got it redone, and it is in Spanish for the people crossing over the bridge. And it's promoting our market days. So we have a page on this website called Tour Texas, and people who are looking to travel within Texas, because that is a very, very popular thing to do. It's a weekend trips away within their state. And so we have a microsite on this site, and we have had 641 postal requests. So we'll get an email that says, hey, so-and-so would like some more information on Harlingen. Please send them any information you have. We go ahead and we send them a brochure, a map, and we have a murals brochure as well. So any information on Facebook in print that we can. We also have some Facebook click-throughs, PDF requests, and website click-throughs. So people are not only requesting print, they are also going through our social media sites. This is an image of our website, visit harlingentexas.com. We are constantly updating it with new restaurants and what's happening in Harlingen, and the header changes, and the header right now that we have is the Halloween on Jackson Street, which is October 31st, and we encourage all the businesses here to participate. It's a small fee, but you get to really get your face out there and really get to be in the community. And I really invite you all to attend our Fall Festival on November 23rd. So that is a free event at Lonsea Hill Park, and it's from 5 to 10. We're going to have great weather, I know, on that day, and we're going to have a lot of bands, carnival rides, a lot of food, and it will be really fun. I really encourage everybody here to join us. So thank you, guys.
All right, does anybody have any questions for Cassandra? It's a great presentation, a really cool snapshot of what's going on in Harlingen and things to do in Harlingen and how you promote it. Very good presentation. Thank you very much.
Excuse me.
All right. Item 3 is the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of August 21st, 2019. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? I had one during the second public hearing on page 2, line 26. That should be J. Meade, M-E-A-D-E. Any other corrections? With that correction, is there a motion to approve the minutes as corrected?
Motion to approve the minutes from August 21st, 2019.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign, motion carries. Items 4A through H. Is there a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign, motion carries. Item 5, consideration of possible action to approve an ordinance on first reading for specific use permit to allow an adult business smoke shop in a general retail district located at 216 North at Cary Drive, Suite 6, bearing a legal description of 1.583 acres out of Vector Subdivision Unit. Applicant I.L. Turkjaman. And this item was tabled, so we'll need a motion to remove it from the table.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Remove
All
it.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, so now we'll take the item up.
Mayor, City Commission, good afternoon. As for the Code of Ordinances, an adult business, which in this case is a smoke shop, is allowed in a general retail district, but it requires a specific use permit, SUP, by the City Commission. The applicant is requesting the SUP to allow the smoke shop under the name Cloud 9 in a suite in the Plaza Commercial Building located at 216 North Ed Cary Drive. The suite is 1,800 square feet in area. The proposed sales consist of general vape equipment such as assorted vaporizers, e-liquids, tobacco accessories, adult novelties, CBD products, tapestries, hookahs, and cigars. The zoning is a general retail districts in all directions. It's on Ed Cary Drive, real close to the expressway. Surrounding land uses, you have the Lowe's store. The dollar store is just to the north, and Harbor Freight across the street. And the location is in this plaza, right, kind of in the middle. And that's the site plan, and this is where they want to locate the smoke shop. And that's a picture of the building. Staff recommended, staff received no objections from the appropriate city departments or the surrounding property owners. Staff recommends approval of this SUP subject to the conditions being the following: obtain all state and city permits, maintain the required parking, which is 5 spaces for this business, provide video surveillance with a minimum 30-day retention, and comply with all requirements from all the different departments. The Planning and Zoning Commission met on September 11, 2019, and no one spoke in opposition to the SUP request during the required public hearing. After a brief discussion, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the SUP, subject to the list of conditions, with a 4-0 vote and 1 abstention.
I have a question. And this is probably more for the police department. I don't know if the chief can answer it or not. I want to know, I know a couple years ago we implemented where we were going to do more spot checks or making sure that the businesses that we are giving these special use permits to, that they're following, whether it's video surveillance, the security, in this case, whatever they're saying they're going to do, that they're doing. And have we done anything this past 6 months or so, or this past year, and what were the results of those inspections?
Yeah, I don't have any stats right now on the ones we have done. I know we work with code enforcement. We'll usually do an initial follow-up visit about 3 months after they open, and then code enforcement usually follow up after that.
Okay, but so have they been in compliant for the most part, or?
This one in particular?
Any of them. I mean, I just, because the
Yes.
idea is,
Okay.
my concern is when we do these special use things, they're required to do certain things, and then we don't follow up. So we have an incident, or we have, in this case, if there's a minor buying something, or they're carrying products that are, for the adults or whatever, gets in the hands of the minor, and there's no follow-up. There's nothing to prevent that from happening. That's the concern I have with any of those.
Right. I know the ones we have followed up with have been in compliance, and there have been a couple that have had some crimes that have occurred in them. And when we've been there, they've had the video and.
But you've had corrective action, and so we have a mechanism in place, is what I'm asking, I guess.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
In addition, this can be revoked. So if there's problems with this business.
Yeah, but I've always found it's easier to do it preventatively than after the fact, right?
Yeah, but just don't think that this is permanent. I mean, if there's problems with this business, the special use permit could be revoked. There's a process to go through, but it could be done away with.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions? All right. Can the city attorney read the caption, please?
An ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Harlingen to issue a specific use permit to Eyal Turgeman to allow an adult business smoke shop in a general retail district located at 216 North Ed Carey Drive, Suite 6, bearing a legal description of 1.583 acres out of Vector Subdivision Unit 1, subject to 1, obtaining and maintaining the proper state and city permits, 2, maintaining the required parking in accordance with city regulations, 3, providing video surveillance with a 30-day retention, and 4, complying with the requirements administered by the planning and zoning, building inspections, environmental health, fire prevention, and police departments.
Do you think we ought to recognize it? Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance on first reading?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign, motion carries. 6, consideration of possible action to approve an ordinance on first reading to rezone from residential single-family R1 district to neighborhood services NS district for 0.891 of an acre of block 21 Howard Dixieland Heights subdivision located at 1401 Dixieland Road. The applicant is Ricardo Caballero.
And this was
This
tabled.
item was tabled at the last meeting.
Motion to remove from the table?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Yes, this is an application to rezone a residential single-family property from that district to neighborhood services district in order to allow a fourplex residential complex and an office use on the property. The property characteristics is an existing there's an existing 1,500 square foot single-family residence on the property that the applicant plans to demolish. It's a triangle-shaped property, 246 feet of frontage along Dixieland Road and 40 feet of frontage along Bothwell Road, and a depth of 185 feet in the longest point. Dixieland Road is 4 lanes with 48 feet of pavement, curb and gutter on both sides. The property was zoned R1 in January 2017. Here's the zoning map. As you can see, the property is zoned single-family residential. You have a single-family residential zoning to the east and west, a mobile home district to the north, and the neighborhood services district to the south. That's the survey of the property. Like I mentioned, it's kind of like a triangle property, but big enough for what the owner wants to do at the site. Here's an aerial photo. It's across the street from Harlingen South High School. You have the Grace Point Fellowship Church to the west, and a child development center to the south, and a mobile home park to the north, and this is the property right here, and there's a house right there. That's the house I was telling you about. This should be coming down soon. A little bit about this district, the Neighborhood Services District is designed to service the domestic needs of the immediate neighborhood. Some of the uses permitted by right include residential uses, which allows a fourplex. Also bakeries, churches, daycares, professional offices, and pharmacies, so businesses that cater to the neighborhoods. Uses not allowed in the district include mobile homes, halfway houses, open-air businesses, auto repair businesses, car lots, restaurants, dance halls, bars, and adult businesses. This is the land use plan, even though in the land use plan is designated for single-family residential, you have commercial residential just south. On staff recommendation, although the rezoning request is not consistent with the future land use plan for this property, specifically, the request is consistent with the adjacent neighborhood services zoning to the south and with the surrounding land uses. Also, we're looking at a potential investment of $300,000 to $500,000 in the property, which will increase the tax base. Staff recommends approval of the rezoning request. And Planning and Zoning Commission met on September 11, held a public hearing. No one spoke in opposition. And after a brief discussion, the Planning and Zoning Commission is also recommending approval unanimously.
All right. Could you read your caption, please?
An ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Harlingen, rezoning from residential single-family R1 district to neighborhood services district for .891 of an acre out of Block 21, Howard Dixieland Heights subdivision, located at 1401 Dixieland Road, providing for publication and ordaining other matters related to the foregoing.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. I'd like to, point of personal privilege, I'd like to recognize Hidalgo County Commissioner David Fuentes, who's in the audience with us tonight. Commissioner Fuentes, glad to have you here with us tonight. Item 7, consideration possible action to approve an ordinance on first reading to abandon and vacate a portion of a 1-foot non-access easement being a 0.0006 acre of land, 27 square feet, out of Lot 5, Harbor Health subdivision located at 1801 Atrium Place.
Yes, this is a subdivision that was recorded in 2009. It's at the corner of Hayden Drive and Atrium Plaza. FM 509 is over here. And it has a non-access easement along the north side. And that's why we're here today, to remove a portion of that non-access easement. This is the proposed development at the site. Hayden Drive over here, Atrium Place, apartment complex. The one entrance here, and they're hoping to have a second entrance over here to Hayden Drive. So this non-access easement needs to be removed to allow this entrance. The fire department requires 2 entrances, so this will help the development be in compliance with the fire code. This is the aerial photo. There's the Atrium Nursing and Rehab Center is over here to the south. Hayden Drive, FM 509. BFW Road, and the Riata Apartments over here. Picture of the property. Staff recommends approval of the partial abandonment of the non-access easement.
Okay. Anybody have any questions before we have the city attorney read the caption?
What is a non-access easement?
It's an easement to not allow an entrance.
To not allow an
Yeah.
entrance? So somewhere in the past, somebody placed that there?
I think it's one of those, it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Answered.
Okay.
Okay. An ordinance abandoning and vacating a portion of a 1.0-foot non-access easement described as a .006 acre of land, 27 square feet out of Lot 5, Arbor Hill subdivision located at 1801 Atrium Place.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
All those, any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign, motion carries. Item 9, consideration of possible action to adopt an ordinance on first reading to replace a yield sign with a stop sign.
8.
No.
8.
Okay, 8, consideration of possible action to approve an ordinance on first reading to abandon and vacate a 1-foot non-access easement being 360 square feet out of the south side of Lot 5, Block 1, Harlingen Heights subdivision, located at 2410 Spur 54.
This is a similar situation. In this case, when the subdivision was developed, TxDOT requested a non-access easement, but then they turned around and gave a driveway permit for the development. This is for the barbecues. TxDOT issued the permit in July 24, 2019. This is the barbecues that is under construction. This is a Spur 54, Bass Pro Drive and Harlingen Heights Drive. And over here is a proposed commercial plaza. That's the second phase of the development of this property. So the plan is to have this entrance here that will be shared, used by the barbecues and the commercial plaza. And the non-access easement is along here. Here's the aerial photo. And this is where the barbecues is going up, the future commercial plaza, and this is where they're proposing that entrance. And here's the schematic design for, as you know, Spur 54 is going through an expansion right now. And here's the schematic design that shows that the future roadway will have 3 lanes going east and 3 lanes going west, but it's also going to have a raised median, which will really help in preventing accidents. So the proposed entrance is here, but drivers exiting from here will only be able to make a right because of that raised median. There's a picture of the barbecues under construction, a picture of the project, and again, staff recommends approval, and TxDOT this has no objections.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? Then could we ask the city attorney to read the caption, please?
Yes, sir. An ordinance abandoning and vacating the 1-foot non-access easement described as 360 square feet out of the south side of Lot 5, Block 1, Harlingen Heights 2 subdivision located at 2410 Spur 54.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Second?
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign, motion carries. Okay. It's good to be able to help facilitate business growth in our community.
Yeah, and with the raised median, there should not be any traffic problems at all. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Item 9, consideration possible action to adopt an ordinance on first reading to replace a yield sign with the stop sign at the intersection of Vermont Drive and 77 Sunshine Strip.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, City Manager, City Attorney, and City Secretary. This request was presented to staff by a resident living near the intersection. Staff has determined the need to replace the existing yield sign with a stop sign by an exceedance of annual average daily traffic on the through street, 77 Sunshine Strip, The replacement of the stop sign will be part of a plan to enhance the safety of the existing intersection by providing a better control of traffic movements at the intersection. Included within your packets is a layout showing the existing and proposed intersection signage, photos of the existing signage, AADT counts for 77 Sunshine Strip, and guidance on the placement of stop signs from the Texas Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices. So this is just the overall layout, which is where Vermont is. It's kind of down there on the bottom. It's right off of Ed Carey, just down from, I'm sorry, it's on 77, just down from Ed Carey. These are the right-of-way dedications in the plats for the area. So 77 is a TxDOT road, and Vermont is a city-owned right-of-way. And the sign is located in the city-owned right-of-way. Here is the existing yield sign coming out to 77, and this really was concerning to people because it's a 77. I'm sure we all know is very heavily trafficked. So we checked the average annual average daily traffic off of the TxDOT website. So the guidance we have is if the cross street is more than 6,000 cars, a stop sign is warranted, but the traffic on the street was over 21,000 vehicles, well over the criteria. So, and that's just our guidance from.
Can we look at, when we did the Dixieland, where you put the light with that solar, you think we can do something like that? Because that's been a yield sign forever. And if.
Dixieland and what?
I think the difference was on the Dixieland, it was a major thoroughfare that we put a stop sign on. And I believe this is the side street that comes off of next to the Montessori school.
Right, it's a Montessori school, but they have the apartment complex in the back.
It does have an apartment
So there's
complex
always
in the back. Yeah.
there's always a line.
Is there? Well, yeah.
It's just because I pass through there every day, right? And I see that every day. I just would want to see if y'all could consider putting some, the lights, just so it's more noticeable that it is a stop sign now, not just a
What we
yield
did
sign.
behind the HEB, there's a cross street there. I think
Yes,
it was
yes.
Oak.
Where
We
the-
put flags.
Right. Or, something.
Just to warn people to say, hey, we've made a change here.
Right, because I think for a while, they're still going to be going through it.
Sure,
It's a lot of traffic.
like a full-time flashing, or just we're talking a couple months?
We did on Dixieland, it's a solar, and then it's a lighted LED type.
But that's a big sign.
It's a lot of traffic, and I would imagine this traffic count is a little higher than that Dixieland.
We absolutely can look into that.
But it is a concern whenever we make changes like that to at least warn people.
Absolutely.
For a while.
Absolutely.
Right, or temporary something, right?
So as to the cost for it, we do have the stop sign on hand. I don't know if we have the LED, so we'd have to look into that.
That's why we used the flags the last time because those were readily available.
Sure.
Something, yeah.
All right, so let's read the caption, please.
An ordinance authorizing the placement of a stop sign on Vermont Avenue at its southern intersection with 77 Sunshine Strip, establishing a fine not to exceed $200 for the driver of any motor vehicle who fails to stop and yield the right-of-way in obedience to the stop signs herein authorized, amending and repealing conflicting ordinances, providing for publication, and ordaining other matters related to the foregoing.
So is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign, motion carries. Item 10, consideration possible action to approve an ordinance on first reading to adopt a drought contingency and emergency management plan. Tim.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager. It's my pleasure to present a drought contingency and emergency water management plan proposed as an ordinance of the City of Harlingen. Back 20 years ago, the state required that all public water utilities having connections 3,300 or more need to adopt a drought contingency plan and to update that plan every 5 years. That's exactly what the Waterworks has been doing. Late last year, there was new guidance published by our regulator indicating that that plan would need to be adopted by ordinance of the City Commission in the case of Harlingen. So we have been looking at a significant update for a revision of that plan. We've taken that to the Harlingen Waterworks Board of Trustees, who adopted that plan on September 4th and has referred it to the City Commission for adoption as an ordinance, and that's what brings us here today. The purpose of the plan is to regulate non-essential water usage for emergency water shortage conditions. It's applicable to retail customers and to wholesale customers. Wholesale customers are currently in existing agreements, so this plan would not immediately apply to them. Upon renewal or extension of those agreements, the new regulation requires that those provisions of the plan apply or be included in those new contracts. The plan does propose 3 stages of restrictions. There are a variety of triggering criteria. There's 5 of them that I'd like to review shortly. Percentage of U.S. capacity in the Amistad and Falcon Reservoir system. Those are the reservoirs that feed our reach of the Rio Grande River. We receive all of our water from that source. A graph maintained by the International Boundary and Water Commission shows the U.S. percent of reservoir conservation capacity and the Mexican conservation component. The U.S. is in blue. I think I would point to this area in early 1998 is the lowest point on record for that reservoir system, where it reached 19% of the total. That's an important number to remember, as we'll talk about specific triggers in a second. Another criteria is the percentage of estimated water rights remaining in the year. You cannot pull more water out of the river than you have water rights for. Fortunately, with a purchase that we're making this year of about 300 acre-feet, our total is going to get to 23,000 acre-feet. 2017 was a relatively high year for production and water consumption for us when we consumed 15,500 acre-feet. The good news is that we have approximately a 50% surplus in water rights relative to a very high level of demand. That's a good thing for Harlingen. Another criteria is the sustained demand experienced in the system as a percentage of our treatment plant capacity. If demand outpaces what we can produce, pressure in the system drops, and that creates a number of problems, including regulatory ones, that we really need to avoid. Both of our treatment plants combined produce 29 million gallons per day. Their 3-day maximum sustained demand on record that we have is slightly over 20 million gallons per day. Those numbers would indicate we have about a 45% surplus in treatment plant capacity. A good situation as well. There are some other conditions not related to drought or high consumption that could be concerned. Those would include the failure of critical infrastructure. If we were to lose a plant during the middle of the summer, that would create a problem, a major line that would break in a certain area, or even damage or the inability to convey raw water from the irrigation district or the river to our treatment plants. Contamination or upset of river water quality is another issue that can possibly come up. I know within the last couple years there was an incident where high salinity water was coming down the river. Didn't want to pump that. The irrigation district stopped that. If that were a condition to persist for some period of time, that could potentially create some problems in an emergency water condition. So this is a table showing the specific levels for those criteria that would allow us to trigger drought water restriction stages. I'm just going to talk about the first one here, the volume in the Amistad and Falcon reservoirs. We talked about 19% being the all-time low for that reservoir system. The trigger for stage 1 is if it got below 15%, stage 2 below 10, stage 3 below 5%. So historically, our stage 1 trigger, as stated in the plan, has not ever been met. There's a number of other parameters there that we can talk about if you'd like to discuss. In terms of the restrictions that are implemented if a stage is declared, they're primarily related to lawn watering, landscape irrigation. There are other non-essential uses like car washing, vehicle washing, washing off sidewalks and so forth that would also fall into that category. Stage 1 would restrict watering to twice per week. Stage 2 would restrict watering to once per week, and Stage 3 would be an outright prohibition of all non-essential uses of water. Wholesale customers would be allocated 70% of their average for that given month. That's, again, not something we can enforce immediately, but upon renewal of those wholesale contracts, that would be a provision that would kick into place because of this plan. There are enforcement provisions. These are for retail customers. There is one notice of violation that does not incur any civil penalty. Thereafter, there are fines ranging from $200 to $1,000. Non-payment of a fine would then result in a surcharge that could be added to a customer's utility bill. And on the fourth violation, there is the ability for Waterworks Administration to disconnect a customer for noncompliance with the requirements of the Drought Contingency Plan. There's an appeal process. First, it would go to the Waterworks Board. If the appellant doesn't like that, they could then take it to the City Commission. So in summary, while it is highly unlikely in any given year for us to trigger any stage of our plan, it is a plan that does provide us with the ability to start to restrict some of our water demand to help us meet drought or emergency water conditions. This is the first reading. We're accepting input from the public, from the Commission, and we could certainly incorporate any changes that would need to be made upon second reading. So we are recommending approval. This does satisfy the regulatory requirement that we have to adopt a plan by ordinance, and so we do recommend approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Can you go over the first 10 pages again?
Sure.
No, I'm just kidding. Just getting the point.
And Tim, on the trigger.
This is just wishful thinking on your part.
And I mean, I sat through your presentation yesterday, and so the only question I didn't ask you yesterday, the trigger, it's a one trigger. It doesn't take two or three. Just if one of those criteria is hit, like for example, somebody dumps something in the river, we could.
Right. There is latitude that's built into the language of the plan. If you read those clauses, it's not a guarantee to say if one of those happens, we have to. It doesn't have to be all 5 of them. It doesn't have to be 2. There is latitude that is given to the board and to the general manager in making those decisions. And there's a number of notifications in the plan for city officials as well before a plan would be implemented.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any other questions for Tim? Can you read the caption, please?
Yes, sir. An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Harlingen, Texas, amending Chapter 48, Utilities, Article Roman 3, Water System, creating Division 4, Drought Contingency and Emergency Water Management Plan of the City of Harlingen Code of Ordinances, establishing administrative penalties, and establishing an effective date hereof.
Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? As Tim pointed out, historically, we haven't had to do this in Harlingen, do any water rationing, and part of that is because of the large wealth of water rights we have relative to other cities in the valley, which is a real positive thing for us. You mentioned the 50% excess and the cushion that we have there, but it is good to have the contingency plan in place. So with that, is there any other discussion? Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Item 11, consideration of possible action to approve a general service contract to provide services relating to federal and state government relations and authorize the city manager to sign the contract with the Harlingen Area Chamber of Commerce.
Mayor, Commissioners, last year, you remember, we executed this contract with the Chamber for Government Relation Services. I can tell you that Chris Gonzalez and his staff, through the Chamber, have been instrumental in getting us meetings with the state lawmakers. And here in October, he's also scheduled some meetings in Washington, D.C. with our federal lawmakers. And I would like for this contract to continue, and I'm recommending that we extend it for another year at the same rate, at $1,500 per month. And I think Chris is here to make a presentation. Chris has done quite a bit I'm going to let Chris cover some of the areas that he's helped us with, and
Going into the beginning of last year in December, we had meetings set up with the Texas Comptroller. This was to cover the sales tax on online to get specifications on how it's going to be given out to the city. We set up the Harlingen trip in March and February where we take the delegation up there. We meet with state officials. We had meetings with the Speaker of the House. We had meetings with the Texas Attorney General, Lieutenant Governor, and different senators and reps. During the summer, we reach out to different officials depending on what's going on. I'm meeting a minimum at least once a week with a state rep staffer, whether it's Senator Eddie Lucio, Representative Eddie Lucio, Representative Oscar Longoria, plus the other representatives across the valley, because each representative we have to work with. There's a congressional delegation coming in tomorrow that I'll be up in McAllen visiting with them. We're setting up our trips to Washington. My staff and I continue to work on this, work out the priorities and whatever issues come up with the city of Harlingen, our school district, our economic development corporation. We try to assist with it any way we can.
And Chris works closely with our state lobbyists on items that are important to the city of Harlingen.
Make the motion for approval.
A motion to approve, is there a second?
Sure, I'll second.
All right, is there any discussion? All right. The others, just I'd like to point out, other cities in the valley actually have on their staff a governmental affairs person. And this is a way for us to kind of fulfill that function, but doing it cost effectively and joining forces with the Harlingen Chamber of Commerce to kind of do this. So I think that's a great thing for us. So any other discussion?
You can't increase your rate, Chris.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. All right, thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Work you do. Item 12, consideration possible action to authorize the Harlingen Police Department to sell or auction a 2009 custom 53-foot laser shot mobile shooting range trailer utilizing govdeals.com auction website. Chief?
Mayor, Commissioners, it was about 2 years ago we were gifted this trailer from the Austin Police Department. They hadn't used it in several years. It had sat, and originally we thought we could get it up and operational. To this date, we have not been able to. And we have sunk a significant amount of money into it, trying to get it operating. At this point, the main issue is the HVAC system, and we can't operate it without that being fully functional. Latest trained technician that came out and checked the system said it just needs to be completely replaced at a cost of anywhere between $20,000 to $30,000. Plus the generator on it's going to need some more upgrades and repairs to get it fully functional. At this point, we've pretty much decided it's become a money pit, and we're thinking it's probably a good idea to cut our losses at this time and try to recoup some of this money, if not all of it, hopefully. We did check with the Office of the Governor's Grant Division to make sure we could either sell this or do some other thing with it, and it has no restrictions to it, and we can do whatever we want with it. And but like I said, to try to recoup some of the city's money that we've invested in this, we're recommending it be sold.
Motion for approval.
We have a motion to approve. Is there a
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 13, consideration possible action to approve the fire protection service contract between the City of Harlingen and the City of Premeta to provide fire protection services at a cost of $130,930.05 payable in quarterly installments of $32,733.01, and authorize the mayor to sign the contract. Chief?
Mayor, Boswell, Commissioners, Mr. Serna, good evening. We have before us here the annual renewal, as mentioned, of the fire protection services contract between the City of Premeta and City of Harlingen. The rate for the fire protection is 0.10 cents per 1,000 valuation based on the city's 2019 certified net taxable value. Excuse me. The City of Premeta has reviewed the contract and has signed an agreement with the stated provisions. This contract will ensure fire protection services to the City of Premeta for the agreed upon compensation of $139,3205 due in quarterly installments of $32,731.01 on the following dates: December 31st, March 31st, June 30th, and September 30th, as specified in the contract.
Just to clarify, it's $32,733.01, right?
$32,733.01. As staff recommends approval.
Motion to approve. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 14, consideration possible action to approve fire protection service contract between the City of Harlingen and the City of Palm Valley to provide fire protection services at a cost of $118,939.12 payable in quarterly installments of $29,734.78. Authorize the mayor to sign the contract. Chief?
Yes, Mayor. Again, annual renewal of the fire protection services contract between the City of Palm Valley and the City of Harlingen. The rate of fire protection services is again 10 cents per 100 valuation based on the city's 2019 certified net taxable value. The City of Palm Valley has reviewed the contract and has signed an agreement with the stated provisions. The contract will again ensure fire protection services to the City of Palm Valley for the agreed upon compensation of $118,939.12, due in quarterly installments of $29,734.78 on the following dates: December 31st, March 31st, June 30th, and September 30th, as specified in the contract. Staff recommends approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 15, consideration possible action to approve fire protection contract with Camper County Emergency Services District Number 1 for fiscal year 2019-20 to provide fire protection services at a cost of $262,740.76 payable in quarterly installments of $65,685.19. December 31st, 2019, March 31st, June 30th, and September 30th, 2020. Authorize the mayor to sign the contract. Chief?
Again, also, Mayor, this is the annual renewal for, as mentioned, the fire protection contract between the City of Harlingen and the county, Cameron County ESD number 1. The proposed FY 29 fire contract is $262,740.76 to be paid in quarterly installments of $65,685.19 on or about the following dates: December 30th, March 31st, June 30th, and September 30th. Staff recommends approval.
Motion for approval. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Item 16 is consideration of possible action to postpone the Harlingen regular city commission meeting of October 16th, 2019 to another date.
Mayor, Commission, the mayor and I will be out of town on the 16th. So I was hoping we could move that meeting date to possibly the 22nd on the Tuesday, the following Tuesday at 5:30, if that works for everyone. And 22nd, it's okay?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 17, consideration and possible action to approve the designs presented by Megamorphosis Inc. for the HEB Tennis Center Pro Shop at Pendleton Park, and authorize staff to proceed with construction plans and bidding process.
Mayor, City Commission, good evening. We are here to present some conceptuals. Chris from Megamorphosis is here with me. And so what we want to do is, we're at the point where we've come up with some couple of options, floor plans, and some elevations, and so we want to show them to you for approval, and to select, these options, and so we can move forward with the construction plans. And he'll go through the conceptuals, and he'll go through the schedule, construction schedule as well.
Thank you, Javier. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, and attorneys. Thank you for having me here this evening. Like Javier said, I'm here to present the schematic design for the Harlingen HEB Tennis Center. My name is Chris Cias. I'm an architect with Megamorphosis. And go ahead and show you the site where the HEB Tennis Center is being proposed. Of course, it's at Pendleton Park. The park currently has 14 existing tennis courts. They're lit. And like was mentioned earlier, there is an existing small portable building on the site that is in need of some updating. Several years ago, there was a master plan that was developed for the tennis center and for these tennis facilities. One of the big items of that master plan was to create a new competition court in this area between the existing courts. So with respecting that, we've come up with locating the new facility right here where that tennis ball is shown. At a glance, quickly, the new facility will be a 3,700 square foot building. It'll have 2,100, a little over 2,100 square feet of conditioned space. The remainder of the space will be about 1,500 square feet of patio space, which will be for spectating. The building will have a pro shop. It'll have new office space. It'll have a training room, an ice machine for athletes, restrooms, and spectator viewing areas. This slide here shows the site plan, the schematic site plan of where we would put the building, how it relates to the existing drive, so that the building becomes kind of a destination as you drive up to the building. And we've located conceptually where the future competition court would be. And so the building relates to the future competition court. As you walk through the building, you would exit and be right on center court, so it really ties the building into that future competition court. Also, the way the building is set back, it allows to create this elevated walkway or ramping walkway as we plan on elevating the building about 30 inches above grade to allow for spectators to be up above to be able to view tennis matches. You can see here in the floor plan, this covered porch here toward the back would be where spectators could gather on that raised plinth, and then the competition court would be right here, so you'd be able to have a nice seat for watching tennis matches. The building itself, you can see this orange area is the pro shop. This green area is the restrooms. We've got the office and the training room, and then the mechanical space. So it's a pretty compact building, easily organized, nothing superfluous to it. One item of a big debate was the restrooms and whether or not to provide shower facilities for this building. So two options were explored. One, an option that has 3 toilet compartments and 2 lavatories, and then a second option, which you see here, which would have 2 toilet facilities, but the third one would be replaced with showers. This was something that was considered very carefully. We met with the Harlingen Tennis Association, and they want to have the showers. They would like to have the showers. In meeting with the Parks and Recreation staff, the feeling's a little different, being that it's a maintenance item, that it's a liability issue as well. And so if you ask the architects looking at it, we look at it and we do see it as, if you have showers, it does become a potential liability for the city. And it's an upfront cost, and it's also an ongoing maintenance item.
Well, did you discuss in those conversations how you would treat children using those showers and adults?
That was an important consideration, because as you see the way the showers are laid out, if there's a child in the restrooms, there's no separation from adults and children, so it's not the best layout. It's not the best. It's not very conducive.
The Pendleton pool, what I remember with my kids was, there were certain times they didn't go because there was usually, a man in there or something, changing or whatnot, and it just opened, so.
Right, and so that's one of the considerations that as the architects we made, and so we would recommend this option with the third toilet compartment, with the city being able to make provisions for bringing temporary showers onto the site in the event where they have tennis tournaments and things like that, because it would be very important to have those showers in order to attract a certain level of tournaments. So it's something we would recommend.
I have a shower question. If showers are put in, are there lockers? Any place in this facility for people to put their clothes and lock, whether they're playing or taking a shower?
Right, so if you look at the floor plan with the showers, you can see that it's a generous sized shower, so you would have, some hooks and stuff where you can hang your clothes, but there wouldn't be separate locker facilities now.
And Chris, there would be no privacy there for changing.
You would have to change in the stall. There's
In
a
the stall
curtain.
itself.
Yeah, you would change in the stall.
Okay, so I have a budget question. I saw your budget, $500,000.
Correct.
Complete. Does that include any equipment, bleachers, furniture, fixtures? That's all inclusive?
No, so that $500,000 is construction cost. So furniture, fixtures, and equipment is in addition to that budget number.
We can spend another $500,000 just in that?
Because
the bleachers are expensive.
Yeah, so bleachers are expensive. So in this design, what we've done is we have built in some seating along that raised plinth. So you'd be able to sit there. You can bring in additional temporary bleachers and place them on that patio. But without those bleachers, you still do have some seating for spectators.
So do we have did we have a plan for how, do we have a plan on the funding of it and what that amount was, or is this construction amount, are we gonna be able to equip it and?
There was a funding source. There
was some bond funds that we're going to utilize for this project that we have dedicated for park improvements. And how much was the amount that we had?
The total amount that we had from the COs was $647,000.
And that also is inclusive of any architectural engineering fees?
Correct.
Okay.
So we got about 650 and the construction's 500. So we're gonna have about 150 left over for.
And those were bond funds that would have been, that would be restricted.
Right.
Restricted to parks only.
Okay.
Parks only.
And so, I have a question about the building. You said it's going to be elevated 30 inches. Is that pier and beam, or will it be on the slab and elevated from there?
We would propose placing it on a slab, so slab on grade and elevate the grade.
On the men's bathroom, I didn't see y'all put any urinals.
Yeah, so there is a urinal right here.
Okay.
So one urinal and one toilet compartment with the shower, or in the other arrangement, it would be a urinal and 2 toilet compartments.
Okay.
And which that could actually become 2 urinals in the toilet compartment, and that still complies with the plumbing code.
Okay, on this shot, then these bathrooms, the bigger bathroom are ADA compliant bathrooms.
Correct.
And if we put in the showers, we would have to take out the ADA compliant?
No, so we would keep
toilets?
ADA compliant toilets, and then the showers are also ADA compliant. And one cool thing about the restroom arrangement is you see this door here? So that would be a sliding door so that you can close off the rest of the building and close that portion off, and there's still door to the outside so that after hours, people playing at the courts can still access the restrooms if need be.
On your drawings, you have I would imagine that's a stucco finish and a brick finish?
Yeah, so if we go and take a look at the elevation, so we came up with 2 potential, exterior looks of the building. One being what you see, like a plaster finish, a stucco finish, which makes it look real, clean and modern. The other option that we looked at is having brick and wood, which makes it feel a little warmer, kind of, the brick, which is, it's kind of Harlingen, right? And so there's pros and cons to that, of course, The con to having the brick and the wood is there's cost. It's a more expensive exterior finish for the building.
So, and that was my point, or that was my question, is how much more of a cost is that? Because if you're wrapping 4,000 square feet, or no, actually 2,200 square feet.
Right.
How much more is it for one or the other, 'cause
Yeah, so without really getting into the next level of design and really quantifying all that brick, The best I could estimate at this point is maybe a 10% difference in cost, which what we would do, we would still stay within our $500,000 budget, but we'd have to make some concessions on the interior finishes.
Now, would you use real wood, or you would use that kind of masonry type of board?
Yeah, what we would look at is a synthetic material, like a fiber cement, or, it's called Nichiha, there's another.
Cement's really good and actually lasts a lot longer.
Yeah, that's because I'm thinking of maintenance.
It's more of a maintenance-free material.
Exactly.
And another thing to consider that, we've discussed, in our office internally is, EIFS or stucco versus brick and wood. The brick and wood seems to be less maintenance, right?
Yes.
One thing that to consider is, graffiti or tagging or vandalism. EIFS or stucco is a lot easier to repair than brick and wood, so something to take into consideration.
So, Dan, are we just approving to go forward?
What we'd like for you to do is select one of the elevations that you prefer, so that we can move forward with finalizing design and the plans and specs for bidding purposes.
I like that one right there.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I am so happy you guys said that.
We like it too.
But our names go on it, right?
I didn't want to give up on the interior, and so I was thinking more of the stucco, because it's less maintenance. And we don't have to give up that 10% on the interior.
I think with the theme that we're following on the phase one of the Lansing Hill Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're kind of following this theme throughout several of our parks.
Okay.
I just think this is a very attractive building. It also complements the Pendleton Pavilion as well, or vice versa.
Do we need to make a decision on the interior, or can we discuss the shower issue?
Well, I would defer to the architect, the expert, and let him design the interior to stay within budget.
I would think, there's my suggestion, there's got to be a way to bring in showers as needed, or from the exterior, maybe you can design something, where they can.
Well, I know we have our portable bathroom that we have now. We already have one. It does not have a shower. I would like to at least see a budget proposal for how much something like, because I heard what I didn't get her name, I think it was Sarah. I heard what she said, and I can kind of agree with them. You get a bunch of people there, you have a tournament going on.
When you have
to bring in a
pro-athletes and stuff,
portable shower,
absolutely,
it would be nice to have, but I know we have budget constraints.
We do have budget constraints.
Yes, sir.
But on the flip side of that, having additional bathroom facilities.
Yes.
When you have that many people there at a
Yes.
tournament.
Yes.
I think there's also something to be said for that.
Right.
And I will say that Loaves and Fishes recently received their portable shower facility that we would have access to if needed. And it is a very nice air-conditioned facility. And I would say that also is an option.
Right.
Yeah, because
I think we need an MOU with the Loaves and Fishes and.
I think that happened when he stood up and asked for additional funding.
So what I feel comfortable with is not having the showers in there, just.
I just have a personal, I would rather see more privacy, and it means we have to get an external unit to provide privacy. I think privacy is very important.
Did you all consider doing 4 separate self-contained shower restrooms rather than a
community?
Being, for example, that at the Boy Scout camps, that's how they're all designed now. They're not. You go into your own.
Right.
It's your own bathroom. It's not a group setting in any way, and that's the getting at what you're concerned about. And that's a youth protection issue, and so I think we need to be mindful of the youth protection issue. The way around that is doing these private, separate.
Yeah, and we did consider that. Yeah, we looked at that as an option internally. The issue you have with that is it requires so much more floor space to be able to do this, so it grows the building, increases the cost.
How much? Are we talking about 200 square feet or?
No, more than that. It'd probably be. Yeah.
Wait. We've got a couple of things. Okay, Mayor, you said something, and I just want to follow up on it. So you're talking about at the camp, it's a portable that comes into the camp, or is it just a separate build?
No,
okay. I got confused.
Private. That's what I'm asking. How much more space?
Shower houses.
is designed.
Is designed.
It's a brick and mortar thing, but it's just, you go in your own stall and it's got it's a restaurant.
Sure.
You know, it's a shower and it's like your bathroom at home.
Yeah.
Mayor.
So may I ask a question? I'm sorry.
Smaller.
Right.
At this last pro event, and this is for tennis stadium, I don't know if she can answer. How big of a attendance was that?
They're all big.
Because I don't know if 4 showers would do it. I mean, to accommodate an event like that.
There are at least 100 spectators there, plus the staff and the pros.
So,
Participants? Because it would be the participants that would be using the 32?
oh, so maybe that would
Yeah.
work.
And they're not all playing it simultaneously. Understood.
Okay.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to table this so that way maybe Megamorphosis can come back with some of the different ideas that we were talking about.
Would that be permissible, or are we on a time schedule here?
I think we can approve it and then come back with the design.
So we are asking for approval of schematic design, so it's a very important step, because once we have.
That's why I'm asking the
Once we have
question.
schematic design approved, you know.
So the footprint's gonna be the same.
We would have to keep the footprint the same.
Because of budget constraints.
Because of
Right.
budget
And
constraints.
so, once we select an elevation, then Chris and Megamorphosis can move forward with pricing everything. But I think what we need to do is select.
Well, in light of everything that's been said, I would make a motion that we select option B of the concept.
As far as the
No,
exterior.
that's
look.
option A.
Sure.
Option B.
Okay,
Which
And
is
then-
this one right here?
correct.
Which is that one there, and then your interior option will be less the showers.
Right, no showers, okay. Option B, that's the brick and no showers, that's the motion.
Second.
Is there a second? I'm gonna recognize you. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second over here. Is there any discussion, Mr. Leftwich?
Yes, I just wanted to say that I attended the tournament, the pro tournament Saturday. I was there Saturday night and Sunday. It's a fantastic deal. I fully support this project. I'm a little disappointed. I don't think we should delay it. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because this was a bond, a public vote almost 15 years ago. And this should have been done over a decade ago. And I think that before we go and we reinvent other parks that weren't voter approved, we ought to take care of the parks that were voter approved, like the soccer complex, which is drought smitten. It's got cracks all over it. The competition fields are terrible. People don't want to come down here because of the field conditions. We need to take care of the parks that we have instead of spending millions of dollars and allocating millions more dollars for expansion of parks that weren't voter approved. And I think that's one of the biggest problems that we have is that you guys are deferring things that the public has voted for and spending the money on things that we don't need when we should be doing things like drainage and taking care of the parks that we have.
Is there any other discussion? In fact, the 4B Corporation, yeah. Yes, sir, come on up.
Sure. I'm here on behalf of my wife, who is currently playing tennis right now.
Would you
Tom
give us your
Kimbrell.
name and your address, please?
Tom Kimbrell, 1621 Fairfield Court here in Harlingen.
Thanks.
Her concern was that the showers are not only useful once a year when the pros come, which was really important for that, but there are people who don't now, business people who have time at lunch to come play a quick match, aren't able to because they can't shower and go back to work. Winter visitors, we were talking earlier about winter visitors that want to come down here. Believe it or not, a lot of the winter visitors are tennis players. Tennis is one of the few sports you can play into your 70s and 80s. I remember when I was a city employee, we were having a meeting when I forget his exact title, he was the finance guy, mentioned that a single dollar brought by a winter Texan brings in $6 taxable dollars of income to the city. So these are the people that will be attracted by this facility, and the showers are a very important part of that. Thank you.
Can I ask you what the park, I'm sorry, it's for the gentleman, the Parks Board?
How many showers do you think you?
What did they?
Excuse me, how many showers do you think you need in the building? How many showers do you think?
Actually, I think the single for the male and the single for the female should be enough. And adding a wall in there, or partition the wall a little bit, just to give the privacy wouldn't be that big of a deal.
May I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
How about if we compromised and had a uni shower that was sufficiently secured? You know, because I'm hearing what you're saying, yes.
I can only speak.
I worked for a gentleman that played racquetball almost every day, and he couldn't do that if there was not a shower where he played racquetball.
I can only speak personally.
Yes, sir.
I would prefer to have the separation between male and female myself.
Just ask, I mean, all I can do is ask the guy, right.
Okay, well, we can still bid it out with an alternative, right?
Yes.
Go forward with the.
My question was the Parks.
What I'm suggesting is we can go forward with this design according to the motion.
Yeah.
Just like the motion that was made and seconded, but then with some sort of an alternative that would have a shower, and then we can decide when we select the
Yeah, you can see the actual cost.
Right.
And make a decision based on actual bid cost. Sure.
Okay. All right. Did you have something else?
I just wanted to ask what the Parks, what did they recommend? They recommended the showers?
So the park staff does not recommend having showers.
They're not recommending. Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
How about the Parks Advisory Board?
The board went with the option, the first option, which had the showers.
The Parks Board,
Right.
so those are citizens, went with the showers.
Right, so the tennis association was there to make the presentation, and so they voted with tennis association.
Okay, thank you. Do I need to change my motion? Because mine was very specific.
We can bid it as an alternate, and once we have, that way we can get the price, and once we have that price.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think they can bid it with the alternate. And, okay, so I would just, 4B Corporation, remind everybody that the 4B Corporation was created by a vote of the voters. The citizens got to vote to create the 4B Corporation to allocate 1/8 of 1 cent of retail sales tax to funding the operations of the 4B Corporation. And we call it the 4B Corporation because the statute is the 4B, it's referred to as 4B, and the statute has certain restrictions on what can be used. Interestingly enough, 4B money can be used for convention centers, but it cannot be used for drainage unless the drainage project is tied to a specific project or a specific, specific project. So I want to clarify that for the public because there have been some misstatements about what can be used from 4B money and what it can't be used for. But also 4B money can't be used for parks. And Pendleton Park, of course, is, or rather, Lonsea Hill Park is one of our most used. Saw a picture up there that Cassandra presented about when we have the spasmatics out there. Lots of usage out there. And part of what we're doing out there is to increase parking, which we really need. So with that, unless there's any other discussion.
I really like that design. Y'all did a good job with
It's
that.
very, very attractive.
Yes. So we have a motion and a second.
So what is this motion? Could you repeat this motion?
Yeah, the motion is to accept.
It's been a while.
Okay.
We're on item 17, sir.
Right, my motion was to move forward with the project using option B, which is the wood with brick.
Yes.
And then to clarify my motion on the interior, we will spec it without the showers, but we're going to have an option to figure out how much the cost to get the showers and get them done right.
As an alternate bid.
As an alternate bid.
Yes.
Because
So
we can
you're
always
approving-
figure out a different way.
His motion is to approve this design.
Right. The most important is the floor plan
And to approve.
and the general layout.
Yes, sir. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign, motion carries. Item.
Thanks,
eight-
Chris.
Thanks, Chris. Item 18, consideration of possible action to amend the facility use agreement between the City of Harlingen and RGV FC Youth Academy for the use of Field 7 at the Harlingen Soccer Complex. Javier?
Yes, Mayor, City Commission. This is an amendment, and what we're doing is we're bringing it back to the City Commission because what we did was we made some changes in the Parks Department with the use of the soccer fields, and so we took this to the Park Advisory Board, and so what we wanted to do is take management of Fields 1 and 2, and so the agreement with the RGV FC Youth Academy included Field 2, and so what we've done is we moved them from Field 2 to Field 7. And so what we did was we met, the board, Park Advisory Board approved it, the idea, and so we met with the two organizations. We invited the third one, they didn't show up, but we met with the Arroyo Youth and we met with the RGV FC Youth Academy, and so we all agreed that they would take Field 7 and then the Arroyo Youth would take the remainder, leaving Fields 3 and 4 for the adult co-ed. And so the applicant has met all the requirements, and the Park Advisory Board does recommend approval.
Do you have a picture of that nail or no?
No, I don't.
Javier, y'all are proposing just to amend the contract?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just a real quick question. The Rio Grande Valley FC Toros, they're from Edinburgh?
Yes. The
Okay.
organization is from Edinburgh.
Okay, and what does the FC stand for?
Football.
Oh, okay. So then, on the contract, on page 2, item I, it says that the league shall inspect the facility and prepare a list of necessary repairs, if any attached. Will this include the inspection, will that include the other leagues as well?
Yes, so if we do, or whenever we bring those agreements to the city, or the City Commission, I should say, we could do an inspection. But generally, they're just renewals, and so they'll bring things to our attention during their, the term of their agreement.
So you're talking about like the inspection of the fields and
Correct.
what repairs and stuff
Concession.
like that? Everybody will be included?
Correct.
Okay.
Now, the general, I mean, just, I don't want to get into real deep weeds here, but the general theme of what you changed was moving them from Field 2 to Field 7, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
And is that a better field, or, that's why I asked for the picture.
Well, what happened is I'll let you explain.
So Field 1 and Field 2 were originally designed for championship, for tournaments and for games. And so what we did was we took those back because what they were doing is they were using them for practice. And so it's not that we're restricting them from using them, it's just that we would be managing them and scheduling those tournaments or games. And so we moved the Toros, or the RGV FC Youth Academy, to Field 7. They were using Field 8 temporarily because that's what the Arroyo Youth Soccer League had approved or had agreed to. And so now what they want to do is they want to keep them together. So they got Fields 10, 9, and 8. The Toros have Field 7, and then you got 6 and 5, and then 3 and 4.
For practices.
Right.
Okay, so and you took back 1 and 2?
Correct.
2, okay.
So the ones that are lighted, and so this is important, so the ones that are lighted is Fields 10, 9, 8, 7, 1, and 2.
So, but this is not going to misplace any of the Harlingen
Youth
teams. Yeah, like it's not going to displace them or put them out because these guys are coming in.
No, I think that we've I mean, I think the important thing about and how to deal with this is, of course, scheduling. And so they have, like I said, the 3 fields, they have also access to 5 and 6. Only one that we're giving up is Field 7, which is 1 field. And so what we did was we got a roster at the very beginning, and so they had 309 registered players, and so they have now what they do is, I talked to the representative, and so they have, let's see, he gave me a number, but it's over 400. So what he says that out of the 400, they have 150 of those that are from Harlingen. And so their schedule, okay, is 420 registered. And so on average, they have 45 players per night from 6 to 7:30. They have about 22 at 7:30 to 9 p.m.
Okay, Mr. Castaneda's signed up to speak on this item, so I'm going to let him speak first.
Yes, sir. I'm on the Parks and Rec board, but I also have kids that play at Arroyo Youth Soccer. And we have, well, Arroyo Youth Soccer has 654 kids registered there at soccer. And they took away Field 1 and 2, and they also took away Field 7. Right now, we're getting a lot of complaints from, from the people that are registered. There's no places to practice. The time is changing pretty soon. It's going to get dark pretty soon. And, they're going to need people, lighted fields to practice. I welcome the Toros here, but there's a park on Wilson. There's a soccer field there. They can use that field over there. There's no reason why they need to come into with Arroyo Youth Soccer. I was born in '81. Arroyo Youth has been around since 1983. That's, people think of Harlingen, they think of Arroyo Soccer, they think of the Celtics. I feel that's something that we need to protect here, being from Harlingen. We need to cater to the people from Harlingen. I also got some complaints too that the Toros are starting to charge for training and stuff, and my understanding, they're not supposed to be benefiting off of city property for personal gain. To me, that's, they're charging. I coach. I've never charged any of my kids. I coach football, baseball, soccer, basketball. I've never charged any of the kids anything like that. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of parents coming over here complaining. There's no room to practice, for these teams. I know that they're supposed to be using the fields, what day is it, Javier? Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and I had a lady, has a women's league here, and they were telling her that why was she using the field on Sunday, Field 7. There's another women's league that it's a co-ed, Marisa? Co-ed league that plays on Sundays, and they're telling them why are they using Field 7 on Sundays as well. I know there's other fields out there, but I have a picture of some of the cracks in the field.
All right, Mr. Castaneda, let you wrap up, 15 seconds to wrap up, but maybe
okay, well,
2 minutes.
I just think it's a bad idea for us, and we need to protect the Arroyo Youth Soccer.
I have a question for Javier. Javier, how many of the Toro, you're letting them use Field 7 for how many players? Is it just like one? Is that just one team?
No, it's all the 420.
There's several teams, right?
There's about 15 to 20 kids out there practicing. There's not. They can use the soccer complex on Wilson.
So my question is the Toros, you're taking away a field to give to one team, and if I understand the gentleman correctly, there's several of our youth that are not being able to use fields. Is that correct?
Well, I think they have access to the fields.
It's more than one team. And those players are from Harlingen.
Yeah, we're from Harlingen.
We're from Harlingen as well.
They can use the sports complex.
Okay, hang on, folks. Hang on, folks. Hang on. Just one at a time. And if some of you others want to speak, we're going to let you speak. I'm going to let the city commissioner finish asking his question.
Yeah,
And I was going to recognize Mr. Leftwich because looked like he wants to be recognized.
I'm just trying to understand. That's why I was hoping I had a picture. I understand you're taking 1 and 2 away from, I guess, to protect the fields, but we have all the other fields, and if I'm understanding that we have 600 registered kids that paid dues, and they're trying to get their kids to practice.
654.
And it looks like we have enough facilities, but we are restricting them from using the fields. I want to take the Toros out of the equation. I think that you have to look. We made a commitment to our youth and that's what it was built for, that's what it was designed for.
Right, and so they have access to fields 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, and 10.
Okay, but if I'm understanding their complaint correctly, they're saying they don't have enough fields, they don't have enough practice time.
Is that satisfactory?
Well, the thing is that, I mean, if they didn't, and I don't want to be, going back and forth, but they gave up fields 3 and 4 2 years ago to the adult, right? And so if that was an issue now, why wasn't it an issue back then?
The lights are the issue.
All right, let's understand how we're going to talk tonight. You're going to come up, if you want to be recognized, you can come up to the podium and be recognized. And you'll get 2 minutes to speak.
I mean, I welcome the Toros of Harlingen, but the park was leased already to Arroyo Soccer.
You've used your time, okay? So I'm going to so why don't you sit down? Thank you. Mr. Leftwich can speak. Mr. Leftwich, come on up. No, you've been standing there for a long time. Go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to say that I've got 3 daughters that played soccer. I've got one that played varsity at South, one that played varsity at Harlingen North. I've got one that played for the Toros. They all 3 played for the Celtics, and I think that we need to share the fields, but it needs to be proportionate to the registration of what we got. And the fact is that this dilemma is caused by the deferred investment in the soccer complex. We've got photos of huge cracks where you can't utilize the whole complex to begin with. The fact is that y'all are spending money on parks, $3 million, y'all spent it last week. There's an $8 million long-term expense on that park. There's phases that were voted on by the public to expand the soccer complex. If you guys wouldn't be deferring the money and spending money at other places.
Are you in favor of this agreement or not? The item that is before us right now is whether or not the item.
Mayor, you went off on the last item.
Are you in favor of the item or are you against the item?
I've still got, you've already taken 20 seconds of my time. I've got over a minute left. I'm just going to tell you right now, Mayor.
The discussion needs to be centered on.
I'll get to that at the end of my time, but I'm going to ask that you reset my time since you interrupted me. You going to reset my time?
I'm trying to get.
I will give you my decision at the end of my 2 minutes. I had well over a minute before I started.
We're required to talk about only the item that is on the agenda. So you can talk about.
I'm talking about the item. I'm talking about the lack of investment in the complex when voters approved that over a decade ago, and you guys are spending money. Now you're causing conflict in the community. You guys have failed the community because you are not focusing on what the voters want. The complex was voted on. I served on the board, the bond committees. I pushed for the bonds. Not all of them were approved, and now this complex was approved. That's why it was built. And now it's not completed. Now it's not maintenanced because the fields are terrible. I've still got time, Mayor.
You have 10 seconds. Are you in favor of it or not?
I'm in favor of a proportionate agreement that in an investment in the complex that makes everybody accommodated.
All right, thank you.
Everybody's a taxpayer here. There's a lot of taxpayers here.
Thank you very much.
And I just want to say one other thing. You're wrong. Cedar Park voted. They took it to the voters to get drainage. They got drainage projects from the 4B. You're misstating it, not us. You are.
No, I'm not. All right. Sir, would you like to state your name and give us your residence address?
Yes, sir. Lupe Zuniga, 1310 Julia Marie Drive in Harlingen. I want to first address Mr. Commissioner Uribe. I want to first clear this off by saying that we are one of the first teams that benefited from the Arroyo Youth Soccer, from RGVFC Academy. We engaged their service to help develop our children, our girls, with the soccer team, which I do coach. We do use our training. The majority, if not a substantial majority of our girls are from Harlingen. They are tax-paying citizens of Harlingen. So let's not distinguish or differentiate that you're servicing people from out of area, because all of them, if not the majority, are from Harlingen. Secondly, the Royal Youth Academy at one point provided a developmental program for children for those that want to continue to progress their development and skill sets, which is no longer made available, particularly to us at one point because there was an academy session. So we sought out opportunities or options to help our girls in their development. And therein lied the RGVFC Toros Academy. We do have a large number of girls that benefit from the fields themselves. I would bring to question the numbers that are being stated of registration, because there have been no meetings whatsoever for being a nonprofit that Arroyo is. So there's no way of validating that number or to quantify it due to the lack of transparency.
Sir, so are you charging for training, or?
No, first off, to clarify that, the RGVFC Academy is a nonprofit. They are a nonprofit as well.
But do you-
So they charge for the training, for the academy services, as would any academy. But there is a nonprofit. RGVFC Academy is a nonprofit.
May I ask what you charge?
The parents pay $45 a month, and that is very, very reasonable. We get 2 to 3 sessions a week, an hour and a half of development training. You go anywhere else throughout the valley, or even upstate for that matter, and those fees are going to be substantial. But we've really appreciated having the RGVFC Academy available to us. We want to continue that development in that relationship. We want to further develop and create opportunities to bring tournaments down here to the valley into Harlingen. I myself have invited teams from Brownsville and McAllen, and these are the same people that come in, play, they go down at your establishments, they gas up at the gas stations, they contribute to the local tax base too as well. But we really sense a sense of retaliation towards the academy, some sense of tension between Arroyo Youth Soccer and the RGVFC Academy, when all we're trying to provide is development for young children, particularly our girls.
Okay, let me answer your question. Your time is up, but I was letting
Yes, thank you.
him answer your question. Do you have any other questions for him? Okay, does anybody have a question for him?
I do, but I'm going to direct it to Javier, just to kind of clarify a couple things.
Okay, thank you.
Lastly, Mayor Boswell, I'd like to be able to strike Mr. Catañeda's motion due to conflict of interest, since he does sit on the board of Arroyo Youth Soccer and
Okay, well, he's
the
not,
Parks
he
and Rec.
doesn't make a motion here, so.
Good.
it's
I just want to make that point clear. Thank you.
So, Javier? Okay, so I've got the aerial. Fields 1 and 2 are the front 2 fields when you first drive into the complex.
To the left.
And then at the very north side of the complex, off the back of the parking lot, there's 8 fields there. Correct? There's 8 fields across back here? You can
Yes,
point at your
so-
pointer.
yeah,
1
so
and
this-
2?
This is 1 and 2.
Yes.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay, so, one more time. 1,
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, which ones are lighted? 7, 8, 9, 10?
Yeah, 1 and 2, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6 are not
They're not
lighted? Okay.
You're giving 694 kids.
Hold on. If you don't mind. Okay. I'm trying to formulate a question here that's to understand what's going on here. Okay, so the Toros, when they first came, the FC, RGV FC, when they first came, they were given what field?
Field 2.
Field 2,
Right
okay.
here, which is a fenced area.
And so we moved them from Field 2, which is a lighted field.
Right, to
to
Field
Field
7.
7, which was a lighted field.
Correct.
Who was using Field 7?
Arroyo Youth Soccer.
Arroyo Youth Soccer, okay.
Right.
And where did you move them to from Field 7?
So they had use of all these 4 fields up top. So
That's what I wanted to ask next. Go ahead.
So what we did was, when we met, they said, okay, you know what? We'll give you 7, give us 8, 9, and 10.
Did they already have 8, 9, and 10?
Yes.
They did already have
Correct.
8, 9, and 10. Okay. And then did they pick up a 4th field, or they gave up a field?
They gave up Field 7.
And so they went from 4 fields to 3 fields?
Correct.
Okay.
See, the thing is that, I mean, they gave up, the Toros are new, right? And so wherever we moved them, they were going to give up something.
Right. I understand that part. Who is using 3, 4, 5, and 6 currently?
The adult co-ed uses 3 and 4.
Okay. Which is a
So-
totally different league?
Yes.
It is a totally different league. And 5 and 6?
Arroyo Youth.
Arroyo Youth
They have
also
access,
has that. And so
right.
they've always, so they don't just have 3, but they have a total of 5 because they have 3 lighted and 2 non-lighted? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Right, and so I understand the co-ed they only use it on Sundays,
Okay.
and so it's available.
And so if Arroyo Youth wanted to use the one that is not being used all week long, could they have access to
They
that?
could.
Provided there's a schedule?
Right, there's a schedule.
Okay.
That's just a guesstimate.
Okay, Commissioner Leal, do you have any more questions?
No.
All right.
I'm just trying to get a clear,
All right, does the city commission have any more questions for
Yes, I do.
Javier?
Yes, I do.
Javier.
So how many days are the Toros using it? 3 days? Tuesday, Wednesday,
They're
Thursday?
using Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
And the youth?
I think they use it
Do they use it all
Monday
week?
through Saturday.
Every day?
Yes,
Every day except for?
Sunday.
Okay, so they use it 6 days. I mean, they, okay.
so if the FC is only using it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
is it available to Arroyo to use it on the days that it's not
Monday,
being
Friday,
occupied? Or
Saturday?
do you have somebody else cycled on when it's
Yeah,
not?
no, they could use it, and they offered Saturdays and Mondays.
Is that in any contract so that everybody understands what the parameters are?
Let me ask you, I
Go
have a
ahead.
question. Did the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board consider all of this?
Yes.
I mean, did they have a discussion like we're having right now?
Yes, I mean, we did present to them everything. So we presented to them that we were going to take over 1 and 2, and then we presented to them that we would give up Field 7 to the Toros, or to the RGV FC Academy.
You presented to them,
Yes.
or you told them?
No, we presented to them, and they voted. It wasn't unanimous, but they voted for it.
Well, I think what the mayor's trying to get at is what's their, did they really have a chance to get together and try to iron this out?
Well, no, we discussed it. I mean, they had an opportunity to discuss it, and we did.
Doesn't sound like it.
No,
That's why I'm asking.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out whether we're reinventing the wheel here or not, but maybe not.
Well,
I mean,
to
they had a
Mr. Leon's point, if we're taking away a field, and they're getting, that's not an equal trade-off, right? So,
Well,
I have
so-
an issue with it.
In my mind, I'm going back to our swimming league when we needed to do, and so we have to figure out, is it being 100% utilized, or are we just saying we don't want somebody here because
Exactly.
we don't want to be encroached upon? Okay? And so I'm just trying to cut through some of this to find out,
And that-
because we
and that's-
discovered that we weren't fully utilizing a
Exactly.
lane,
Right.
and so we finally gave that
Exactly.
lane up to somebody else,
And
and
the way we
everything
came-
worked
and
out.
The way we came up with it is the data.
Correct.
Right? I think we need a little bit more information to find out where the usage is at, is there gaps? And it's exactly right.
I wholeheartedly
And that's why
agree.
I asked if they were charging, because is it an 80/20 issue, or is it, I get that.
Okay, is there
Right,
something, is there something else that you wanted to?
Yeah, Carlos just brought something up, and it's important, is that if we don't approve this, then it would revert back to them using field number 2, which is, that's the
I have a
agreement.
series of questions. Why is 1 and 2, I guess, being set idle?
Because what it is when it was designed for as competitive fields. And so that's why it's fenced in for that. So we want to keep it for games and tournaments, not for practice. And that's what they were using it for, and so they're just tearing it up.
Okay, so 1 and 2.
Or they're called the championship fields.
Okay, they are the premier fields.
Correct.
And they're being used too much, and they're suffering.
Correct.
And so you're going to set the pasture idle, so to speak.
Correct.
And then, and so this other group, RGV, they're only using the field 7 3 days a week. So the Arroyo Youth is only sacrificing field time 3 days a week, and they can use that same field for another 3 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay, so there are accommodations being made for everyone.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to let this young lady speak. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Ida Reed, 2518 West Mark Circle, Harlingen, Texas. I think that my two daughters play for the Toros. I've been here since 1997. I'm a Harlingen resident, obviously. I pay taxes. I want it to work out for all of us, because I think the most important thing is our children. I've been in soccer thing ever since my kids were 5 years old. I'm tired of the bickering between the adults. My kid now plays for Harlingen High School. Sorry, I have a cough here. And she plays with Abel's daughter. She plays with Christian's daughter. We all play together. I just don't see why we can't all come together for the betterment of the kids, because it's the community. What are we showing our kids? We don't want to show hatred. We don't want to show discrimination. We want to show that we're together. I'm sorry I'm a little emotional, but this is just not right. We're together, Abel.
I know, but it's like.
No. Wait a second, guys. Hey, whoa. You are to address the commission.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And you guys can talk outside, and
Sorry.
we'd love for you to talk outside, but right now.
I'm sorry.
You need to
Sorry,
talk,
sorry.
and Mr. Castaneda, you need to wait your turn. Thank you.
But we all play together because you know what? My daughter gets along with all of them, all our kids. Mr. Leftwood's daughter plays with my daughter. We're all playing together for the betterment of the community, our high schools. We're able, I think we can accommodate. And the reason why I pay my trainer, well, my daughter's trainer, I pay him because he's licensed. My daughter is going to was working on a scholarship to go to play. And so I pay him training like if I went to piano, dance, anything. So it's a kind of like a little bit of a business with them,
okay.
but he's licensed,
Your time is up.
you know?
Thank you.
Would you all be opposed to, and this is just.
I'm going to let Mr. Castaneda, I'm going to give him 1 minute. You have 1 minute. Yeah.
My argument is, I'm looking out for the 600 and something kids that we have, and there's nowhere for them to practice. The main issue right now is the lights. You know, you say there's practice Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but that's during the week. We practice during the week so we can perform on the weekends. If those fields, there's maybe 10, 20 kids that are practicing on taking up the whole field, while you have all these other kids squashed looking for goals, looking for stuff. That's my main interest right now, is the numbers that Arroyo Youth has. That's what I'm trying to protect. You know, like I said, there's a soccer, the sports complex, there's soccer fields out there. Right now I'm going through an issue with Javier Mendez for football. I coach football. I have 100 kids, yet there's Victor Parks being taken up by maybe 60 kids that they don't even have a league going yet, and I have a league already running, and I don't have a home with lights. I don't have anywhere to practice. So that's my concern, and we're left out in the dark. And things like you said have to be balanced, and it's not being balanced.
All right, thank you, Mr. Castaneda.
Would you all be opposed to, or what is, can we not open up fields 1 and 2 and give 1 and 1, or?
Well, fields 1 and 2, it's like in farming, you have to idle your pasture land or your crop land every so many years so it doesn't get ruined. So it needs a time to breathe.
I've been a commissioner for 7 years. For 7 years, we've had complaints about the soccer field because when it was built, and so we need to let 1 and 2 rest, because those are our premier fields.
All right, I'm going to let this gentleman, I'm going to recognize this gentleman.
Sure. Humberto Velasquez. I coach one of the Celtic teams. We were assigned.
Your address, please.
I'm actually from Raymondville. But I coach one of the Celtic teams where about 90% of our girls are from here, from Harlingen. We were assigned to Field 7. And the issue really isn't Toros versus Celtics. The issue really is the lighting. We were moved into Field 8, which has about 6 to 7 other Celtic teams. We're expanding, we're using the bigger fields. Now you're limiting teams into smaller fields. We actually went in and used one of the fields at by Zavala Elementary, which the issue there is no lighting. I was addressing, if we would to have any kind of issues, whether, I know under Arroyo, we have an insurance, where if one of our players gets injured, we fall under an insurance there. Is there any type of, would it?
Are you, so the issues here is the agreement. Are you in favor of the agreement or opposed to the agreement?
Not sure yet.
Okay.
But, the main issue is the lighting. Yes, we do have
I'm letting people speak about this particular item, not just items in general, but, so if you want to speak about this agreement with the FCC.
No, it's just the lighting and.
Okay, well.
The issue is not between.
All right, thank you. I'm going to let one more person speak, and then we're going to conclude. We're going to let the commission decide what they want to do.
Hello. Good evening. My name is Luz Prukop, and I am a San Benito resident, but I pay my fees to Arroyo Soccer Club. And my kids are Catalina and Sofia. I want to thank the city of Harlingen and the Toros organization for giving our community, the children, the opportunity to advance their soccer skill level. The other thing that I wanted to tell you is that one thing that I really do not, and we need to bring it to the attention, is that they need to stop videotaping my children, my 8-year-old children, and taking pictures out there at the field, because they're kids and they have no authorization nor my permission to be taking pictures of my kids. I'm in favor of having Field 7. It's the only one that we're using. Arroyo has access to the whole park. That is a very small area that we're using, and we're only using it Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It's not, they say that we pay the trainers. You know what? They have trainers that we also have paid in the past. So, you know what? It's the same thing. These kids are all from all over the place. They're from San Benito, they're from Harlingen, they're from Raymondville, they're from all over here. But the purpose is for the children, because you know what? Arroyo does not offer, they do not offer a higher level of playing. The Toros, we have that opportunity, and it's the first of its kind. We want to see it succeed for them, because they're the ones that want to learn. And it's for them. It's not for, it's not about fighting for fields. If it comes to, better lighting, then let's add lighting.
All right, thank you very much. All right, I'm going to that wraps up the general discussion. Is there any other discussion? What is the?
I would like to make a motion for the action to amend the facility use agreement between the City of Harlingen and RGV FC Youth Academy for the use of Field 7 at the Harlingen Soccer Complex.
And I'll second that.
All right. Is there any other discussion among the commission? It is about the kids. I mean, that's really what it's about. It really has to be about the kids. We have access
To Mr. Dial's point, because you brought up the swimming, I had my kids swimming. I was very big on, I didn't want them to compete. I wanted them to go have fun. And as much as I disagreed with the other party, I also believe we don't have the right to take somebody's thing away if there's a higher level of competition and stuff. And every time that's come up, I've never messed with it, because for the kids to have an opportunity, the players that put the time in and become elite players and they want to move on, that should be afforded to them. So.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. All right, thank you, everybody for your input. Item 19, consideration of possible action to approve the second amendment to the agreement between the Development Corporation of Harlingen, Inc. and the City of Harlingen and Strategic Behavioral Health, LLC, to replace the financial incentive structure related to job creation grants and corresponding obligations of SBH and the Development Corporation. Rodell.
Mayor, City Commissioners, the EDC Board approved an amendment to an agreement with Strategic Behavioral Health, the people who developed the Palm Behavioral Health Hospital. That facility was a $16 million investment in Harlingen. They have hired 178 individuals to date. The agreement was not just an agreement between the EDC and SBH. There was also a 380 agreement between the city and SBH. The criteria for earning the incentive from the EDC was different than the city's criteria. It was actually a little more stringent in terms of the detail. What SBH has asked the EDC board to do was to basically get it on par with what the city was doing, and the EDC board agreed to that. As I said, they've created 178 jobs so far. As their patient census continues to grow, then that number will rise. They have over $7 million in annual payroll that's being circulated throughout the economy, and they average $22 per hour for those employees that are working there. And nobody in that facility gets paid less than $12 an hour. So we're asking for approval on the agreement as well.
Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 20, consideration possible action, thank you, Roselle. Consideration possible action to approve wrapping certain electrical boxes throughout the city with images of native birds. Cassandra.
Hello again. We would like to propose the traffic signal cabinets around the city of Harlingen to be wrapped. This right here is an image of the cabinet. As you can see, we have selected 36 around the city to be wrapped. These will be custom wraps and have a warranty of 3 years. As you can see, they're a little bit different each one. Some actually have a box on next to it, so we might have 12 additional, but the main boxes are 12. We met with Tammy Bulow of the Texas Rio Grande Valley Birding Festival, and we spoke about a couple of birds that she would like to see featured on the wrap. So we were going to have 5 different birds featured, and the front of the panel will show the image of the bird, and the side of it will have a little bit of information on it. This year, like I said, there'll be 5, so each one will be a little bit different. Hopefully these will be up by November 1st because the festival is November 6th through the 11th, so they'll be up for the birds to come into town and take a look at them. Last year we had put up some Coro signs on each of them to kind of decorate the traffic signal boxes because they are very large and they're all around town. The list of birds are the red-crowned parrot, the Altamira oriole, the great kiskadee, the buff-bellied hummingbird, and the yellow-throated warbler. So these are all birds that are native to the Rio Grande Valley, and you have a possibility of seeing them around town on the boxes and in the air. This is a list of the locations that they will be at. And like I said, there's 36 and there's 12 additional boxes that are right next to the box. So if they weren't wrapped, it would look kind of weird. And that's it. Is there any questions regarding the project?
It's a great way to spread some art around the city, and these cabinets.
Yeah, I think, did we see that in Pittsburgh, or where did we saw it somewhere?
I can't remember where we saw it,
I
but
said,
we
man,
saw it.
that's a great idea.
Yeah. It may have been in LA last year.
I think Cassandra brought up this idea here in Harlingen. She didn't go to wherever.
I didn't go to LA, but
I came up.
Great job, Cassandra.
Can we get them done before the birding festival?
Yes, the man who we reached out to, Lone Star Printing, he actually went out and measured each box, and they will be cleaning the boxes because they're all, like I said, they should be the same shape and size, but they're a little bit different. So we needed to create a template for our designer to make sure the bleed is correct and everything. And like I said, there is a 3-year warranty. We want to make sure they keep looking good. I know the sun damage could happen, so we want to stay on top of them and replace them if needed.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve, a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
No controversy here, thank you.
Wait, what kind of
I got
bird?
one
Motion.
question.
Wait, I got a question.
Finally. All right. Motion carries. Item 21, board appointment.
I have an answer.
Yes, I have Bill Toner to the Golf Advisory Board. Larry Kraus has resigned from that board.
None. And I have Belinda Palomo to the Keep Harlingen Beautiful.
Is there a motion to approve the board appointments?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 22 is executive session, closed session on the following items. A, pursuant to Chapter 551, Sections 551.087, 551.071, 551.072 of the Government Code regarding commercial financial information business prospect with the city is conducting economic development negotiations and or to discuss or deliberate financial or other incentives of the business prospect known as Project Ghost Flyer, and to seek legal advice from the city attorney regarding the subject matter. B, pursuant to section 551.0712 and 551.072 of the Texas Government Code, to seek and receive legal advice pertaining to the city's legal options and discuss exchange of real property regarding the implementation of Project Dream. C, attorney consultation pursuant to section 551.0711 Texas Government Code, to seek legal advice in connection with pending lawsuit style numbered Robert Lefkovich versus City of Harlingen, cause number 2019 DCL 05420 and 103rd Judicial District Court, Cameron County. Has a motion to go into executive session.
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be meeting with our attorneys and to discuss executive session items. There are no other items on the agenda. There will be no other action items when we return.